Oh, absolutely, Naledi. The next time you see me, call me a scientist, because all of these conversations taking place here are rubbing off on me. The focus of this gathering is science for social justice, and this applies so much to the conversation we're about to have, because I imagine not many South Africans know about the South African National Space Agency, and we're going to bring in Estelle Steyn now to tell us more about what they do at the SANSA. A very good morning to you.
Good morning, Desiree. Lovely to be here.
Before we talk about what you do, let's just speak to this depiction of a man sitting in a spacesuit. Apparently, I hear it's from a real space endeavor that took place.
Yes, so this is called Svetlana Savitskaya, named after the second woman who went into space ever. We're very proud of our spacesuit because she actually trained in this very suit.
Oh, wow.
So it's a little bit of space history that we use in our science engagement unit at SANSA to inspire the South African youth into space and just science more generally.
What do South African youth know about space in South Africa?
You'd be surprised. With our mobile lab, we go to nationally to all small schools throughout South Africa. And when I speak to them about space, they really light up because I think it's the new growing field and they all want to see themselves in that growing field.
The field is growing, but what opportunities are there for students? And as you respond to that, just speak to what's on the table here and what it means.
Okay, so yeah, we have our plasma sphere. This we use because it's SANSA, we do space weather. And it shows the kids, here's a little bit of plasma, which is charged gas particles. And when you touch it, it comes to you, they get enthusiastic about it. And then we use that to speak about the sun and the particles that are coming towards the earth from the sun. And yes.
And just in the other contraption?
This is our infrared camera. It's gone.
All right, the screen has gone a bit off.
And this we use to look at the, it's an infrared camera, which means it looks in thermal energy, and we use it to talk about the James Webb Space Telescope. So this telescope is the new Hubble, and it gives the most crisp, beautiful pictures of the universe. And when the students see those, they really light up.
So when you speak to the students, what do you tell them about future possibilities in working in this space?
Well, there are lots of different career paths within our space agency, but there's also just engineering, being a physicist, but you can even be a space lawyer. Actually, really anything you're passionate about, if you pursue that with determination, there's a path in the space field for you. And actually, the way that I really want to encourage the South Africans is in space entrepreneurship. This is the new link between having your own business and the link between the space agency and commercial private industry.
Especially with the global conversation about commercial space flights. But Estelle Steyn, thank you so much. Estelle is with the Science Engagement Unit at SANSA. We're going to continue to have a conversation about SANSA, this time with the communication practitioner, Daleen, Fouche, who moves away from the science of it, but gives us the bigger picture. Daleen, thank you so much for making the time to speak to us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So tell us about SANSA.
Okay, so SANSA is South African Space Agency, and South Africans can be very proud of this agency. We are celebrating 11 years since our existence, and it really is made up of several heritage space projects in South Africa. This includes a facility in Hermanus that is over 81 years old, where we have been measuring the Earth's magnetic field for a very long time. Now that facility is there, it used to be in Cape Town, but with the advent of the electric railway line, that caused interference with the measurements, and so it moved to a town where there is no railway line.
What are the other projects?
So at that facility, we're very proud to have launched our brand new space weather capability, where we monitor the near space environment on a 24/7 basis. We need to do that because when there are explosions on the sun and it comes to Earth, towards Earth, it can interfere with our technological systems, such as communication and navigation. This can pose a big risk to industries such as the aviation industry. So what we do at the Space Weather Center is we give warnings and updates on the activity on the sun and how it impacts Earth, so that people can make informed decisions on the operation.
That's a lot. But the Minister of Science and Innovation, Dr. Bladen Zimande, also launched that collaboration you're having with NASA. That's massive.
Yes, we are very proud to be collaborating with NASA once again. South Africa was one of the countries that supported NASA with the Apollo missions back 60 years ago at our site in Hartbeespoort. We have now launched a site in Maatjiesfontein, where we are going to build a deep space communication station to support the Artemis missions and the first woman to go to the moon as well.
Wow, that's awesome. An ordinary South African looking at these conversations and wondering, how does all of this benefit me?
Well, what we really are doing in SANSA, which we are very proud of, is we are helping to build the knowledge economy. And with these projects, we are growing as an organization and increasing the skill base. We also have a student program where we give postgraduate bursaries to students to encourage more people to come into the space sector. This pipeline also feeds the private space industry in South Africa, which is a growing and a very vibrant
everybody's excited about those commercial flights to the moon.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And we have an amazing industry in South Africa, and one of SANS's mandates really is to support the growth of this industry.
How does your work speak to South Africa's place in the world of space administration?
Well, we certainly have a big role to play. Already we are playing a leading role in Africa. We see across the continent space programs and new agencies coming to the fore, and we are hoping to really work together as a continent to grow this sector together. So South Africa really has a big role to play there. Internationally, we are also very respected for the level of science that we do. We collaborate a lot with other entities, other scientific and research entities, and we are very proud of those collaborations.
How's SANSA engaging with the theme of science for social justice?
We had a panel recently which was an all-women panel, and we are very proud to see many female scientists coming up into this industry. We are also really very passionate about building the pipeline of professionals into this industry and creating a very high level of a job spectrum that people can go into. We're also developing new fields of research in South Africa, such as solar physics. We have a research chair in space weather to enable us to go into these new fields for South Africa. So by doing that, we are inspiring the youth to come into not just the sciences, but specifically into the space sciences.
Really awesome work from the South African National Space Agency. That's Daleen, Fouche, who's the communications person there. And earlier we spoke to Estelle, Steyn, who is also involved with the Science Engagement Unit at SANSA. That's it from us, and a bit of a break now, and then it's back to Joburg.